People were timid, you know. You see people timid, people resigned as if, so what can change? You know, you can see that expression on their face. So you are inviting us now to do what? What can change? Because like those FDC leaders of ours who were who surrendered, they say, you know, we cannot. You know, the thing is too big for us. So what can we do? You know, there is that resignation that they have managed to spread amongst our people. So this is what I would like to talk about. And I'm grateful that Speak FM is giving us an opportunity to talk about this. All right. It is possible to regain control of our country and soon.
All right, thank you. And we have you better condition. I mean, can report in the condition.
So when you talk about this point, while we have not yet
they can borrow against it and things like that, but it's not the same as when it is flowing.
But you see, you need to address the actual issue. There's a tear. See, they are taking chunks and chunks of money. Actually, doesn't have a voice. That is you see, please deal with the resources of the people that are being taken. It's right for him. Because let me tell you,
maybe
talk to the souls of the people. Not policy. The real issue
is Katonga and the National Committee function. Selection took place in both of the
please.
Election took place from both National Committee.
Because people, you must draw the picture for the people to see.
The National Committee will think that they
are talking to yourself.
They are the real FDC.
Well, the right leaders.
The right leaders of FDC. Is it National Committee or Katonga?
Yeah, you can ask.
Yeah, I can ask that so that you have that clarity. Please. And maybe if they claim that they're the right, what next for Katonga faction?
Not on their hearts. Describe Atiak. How can one woman, helped by government, take all your land?
And not just land, she has been given money now.
Yes, these are the issues. Let us talk about the issues of Acholi before we go into the issues of Uganda.
Welcome back. We are live. We are back on air. Andrew, we will
Apoya mata la pena bioni ci dom dano mo go dugo pere patene go donje patene ningi kaero gini ni la Kizza Besigye wacho ni polo tera magi donje pati pitwale me beru dire madon gin gi yele wa kar gi bet ke twero maboyo na palo member chika ine je ke twero madit por kar twero bino ka tema chika dong pol kara lutela ma buberu ka tema mo ma tema o donye kwogi gien pol kara gi chiaro gi winyeo ki gamente de pate NRM wego politiki gi kane kere kite gamente pa NRM o me ula bola che ne dano bela ne ano pol kara ni uzo nyuka winyone ni kara jane ma gien gite ka jere erkwata pa pate I entebero de najana kompi abilu bera gwa kolobal utimbal ki buruma ki katike gine gu podang ene do abilu bera beno ki weko kiriemo dano mano pegi tegi pati chila mi chento na ene gamenta me ena mi por karata mi chento no giem ke miro ke mo ki te chento na giem ke miro ni chi jo agamo chento ni gamo mere chento mi chogo peo ke mano eto jo amio chento ni mio we kar mi achil gene gi dug do pati so enare mi ni chento we kar gene dong gi le dor pati FDC ki mi ario gi gwak pati FDC mi ade we kar gi neni Gikwanyo lutela magitiki neno mabo. Mina na gonya. Onyo aloha Uganda. Wekargo ahao kipati FDC. Mene confusion la nyuang Paul Carabino. Chi eno wachini. Dua ko pate FDC kita mi robert kere petit matek. Pen la nyuang polo bero ke malo. Ento district. Achil ki Uganda. Achil ki parish. Ki sub county. Ki division. La nyuang eno no poda ye matwal. Gana matek totwal. Chi gima dong pater kuota no te katemo timone chiente manok magemo bera gamone ki winye wiyali magemo teme ke ana ra ene gin gimene ki rwao don wai liet district we kara po ber mapol o we gin gibera winye ni wai Gulu city kan ya chole subregion jo ke no bera dora ni a FDC ti na be dano po ber kilworo gamente ma ko ber ti kador pate FDC gin kiti katimo ti jabe la nyuen e on de bino we kara siempre magien de guno ke winya gi mamara ne ko nong yo ne ni owa genate ka te me ping i district si elwa ene nara madano ne pe gitwa ne la dil Kizza Besigye e goyo nara tap chwe wa mom kikui mukaro e mwali bare o kapara biche to dano we ne la dil Museveni ni announcement ne result ne kui mi ario Ginono mergetin kere yetie onyo yepe pire tekniki ti matek ispira dida megamo twero midolo me Uganda ki orpa kabota we odu kwe chingwa ni kumbere ni wopi magete ke lwen me South Sudan mo kanate ka Congo gitika kwa mabe loy wa nyali me Uganda me ola bonni upi magibino onyo refugees magibino uriya yera gin magibino ne UN kumbere ne menegi kama gen oro gino kaburiye UN kelegi wa kwang UN yele kelegi wa pia mara madok jo agiti jirane poria yela dok chel kanongo ko mabe ki boria yela chala wa gamente gi pele ti eno wa ni kawan wa gale ki kela la ne mo wa echo wa no adonyi magedonya lo Uganda magepe anwele mi Uganda no go kwanyo ngom kilonya me Uganda wang na wana do go du opi ilo mamwa me ola bon ni lo mo kera chala America down na gen malo gini achel mano ge ruo gini red Indians nyo ini mano ge ko e America kumbere gudugudul madak chire goge ni pian kero ge kwanyo pol down mo go donya ya America ne pagiti anywele ni America go donya an eone ge matika teme kumbere Moya me ola bol be lo bachuli. Chalo way kumbete ni. Way ni lo bachuli. Tiki mate. Ni dul down ma pol. Magilungi ni investor. Magipea nyuali mi Uganda. Gitiki farm madon. Luwagi ekas madon. Magite biyon kagamo ngom. Kibot wigi ngom kikome. Ni piyan kayo padano tiye magibao. Umi wala bol ilo ba ngoma pa. Ni gimatika teme ya pa kumbete ni. Dano way ngayon ni. Ngat matika wa ene tila wil ngome peti anwele mi Uganda gitika me podano yapa gitika chopodano kitong andano tika lwen matek mineno ne gwa ngomgi dik tika mete mateka de datin wa ene dano mere guyele miti ne ala yoro o me obedok da bonni kumbere ne mo kilonyo mapol tie ilo bachui to lok ikum ikom ngoma churi tika nongone ke lonya mapol matie lo bachuli gitika kano no ke borda wai lo bunyoro bene ko bene mo tie ma gitika nongone mapol e ko wai ni o ne mai du Gulu mai donyo Gulu lo wo roene di Gulu tie no ne mo wa kero padano tie mo da chaluoro da woro we ti ko ngipere Gem kini ye ni jemi tie mabe mi biano kadano tuta mater. Neno kila no chona ene bini 2001. Kero one ende neno tika ruwen matera. Chi wa ene gino tika ruwen yo kero padano. Dano tika giving up. Dano tika mene ne agini don pelare. Am jo atika katiki kwa ano mi gini don pelare don mire don gichiato don en kamarachi. Ene jo gamo chente kipot party NRM ikip menyu no party FDC ci wa ene dugune na ene dugune ene du kamiyo gambo lwa di peo mere ginine pe down mero giving up no pe down mero miyo mare le a gini don kala ene tie kini ye ni ka down mero mate gramo rojo tera I Uganda olo mero beru lo maladi Kizza Besigye.
Well, for honorable, maybe I will get back to you with my last question, then I will give time to other people to say what to before we can receive phone calls. Is that election took place from both National Kumbi and at Katonga. What seems to be confusing people up to now is that which faction is the legitimate FDC? We have seen this division almost penetrating, coming down to the local leadership of FDC, whereby you'll find other people holding their meetings, but all are FDC members.
Yeah, you see, Manuel, what I told you is that that is part of the objective of those who infiltrated our party to cause confusion, to cause paralysis. But regarding who is wrong and who is right, that should not be a difficult matter to determine. Because the reason we have rules for organization is so that people's actions can be judged against the rule which is there. You know? And the party constitution of FDC is a public document. Anybody, whether you are a member of FDC or not, you can access the constitution of FDC to know who has power to do what in FDC. So the party is not controlled by just a few individuals. Decisions in a party are taken by organs of the party. Many people working together. And there are especially 3 very important national bodies that manage the party. The first one, which is the supreme decision-making body, the one whose decisions are final, is called the Delegates Conference, National Delegates Conference. That conference is chaired, convened and chaired by the party chairperson. That's the constitution. No one else can convene or chair the National Delegates Conference. The same chairperson also has power to convene and chair the National Council, which is the second body after the National Delegates Conference. And the National Council can take decisions of the Delegates Conference if the Delegates Conference cannot sit. So those are the 2 senior most bodies that determine how the party is run. The running of the party day to day is by the executive to implement what those have decided. The executive is the one that is led by the party president. So the party president cannot make policy, can only implement what the party has decided. So to have a new leadership for the party, like they are claiming to have been elected, it must have been done in a national delegates conference. There is no other body that could elect them. If the national delegates conference sat, it must have only been convened by the national chairman. The national chairman is not in contention who he was. He was sitting here, he has walked out. Ambassador Waswabirigwa. Nobody is saying he was not the national chairman, that there is a conflict on who the national chairman was. There is no conflict. So you cannot have a delegates conference except as convened by the Constitution. But like I have said, when you have the power of the state, the power of the illegal state, because the state itself is illegitimate, it's also a captured state. You know, Museveni is ruling by force. So he can help others to rule by force also. If those who claim to have been elected, which chairperson convened their delegates conference that elected them. And so these matters, because we can't use force ourselves, they are before the courts of law. Unfortunately, the courts take their time. They are equally influenceable like other institutions. So all these are the matters that we are discussing now. But Emmanuel, before you get to the callers, allow me, so that matter is going to be resolved through our, it's a political problem, it's not a legal problem. The contradiction in the party is a political problem. We shall resolve it politically.
Politically as well.
Yes. And that's what we are in the process of doing, resolving it politically.
We have been seeing people, you've been moving around the country, and some of your supporters are really supporting that you rather form a new political party and leave the FDC thing, because you have your people who are always there for you and they're part of your struggle for this transition. What would you say about this?
As I have said, the matter of the vehicle to use to get to our destination is not a very major problem. No, it's not a big issue. If we can't repair the vehicle in which we are moving, we shall buy a new one.
A new vehicle.
And continue. What is important,
this is the process of buying a new vehicle.
What is important is that our eyes are focused on where we are going. Secondly, we should spend as little time examining the vehicle that we are having a problem with.
That got an accident.
Yes, if it is repairable, we repair it quickly. Because as I have said, the time element is critical. If you spend a lot of time just lamenting about the vehicle, turning around, circling where it is, you may never even find that it's still possible.
But do you see the possibility of repairing this vehicle?
That, you see, I am just one person. This vehicle was bought by a whole range of all Ugandans, and this is why we have a task to move around the whole country to talk to them. So you will soon have an answer.
Your vehicle is down?
You'll soon have an answer about that. It shouldn't worry you. When we have moved around the country, the leaders who are supposed to make that decision will meet and make that decision.
All right.
So I wanted, just before you go to callers, to spend a little time on what we who are owned in this land of ours should do to get ourselves the freedom we need to survive as owners of Uganda. Because as I have told you, if you just look at Acholi and see the things that have happened to Acholi, in the last couple of years, first of all, Acholi, which used to be a prosperous part of Uganda compared to others, today it is the second poorest region in Uganda, next to Karamoja, Acholi. next to Karamoja is Acholi in poverty. That means that Acholi people must really wake up and fight for their own existence. I've told you that Acholi is being taken over. You had the Ashwa Ranch here, what, I don't know, it's 60-something square miles or more. I don't know that it reaches 100 square miles, which no longer belongs to the people of Acholi, which is, I don't know who owns it now. It's been divided amongst foreigners. I've told you what is happening in Apa. Terrible things that have happened to the people of Apa. Atiak, the land in Noya, you know. I don't know how many square miles Saleh has of Acholi land. And somebody can argue that he bought it. But bought it using which money? Because if you take money from my left pocket and you buy from my right pocket, have you bought from me? You know? So, there is urgent need, not just for the people of Acholi, but for all Ugandans. Because sometimes when people are in Acholi, they think maybe those in Ankole are all right. And that's why today we came with leaders.
Honorable Francis.
Not just Francis. We came with leader, the district chairperson of Shema district is here in Gulu. The district chairperson of Bushenyi. Bushenyi used to be very popular during the UPC government. Yeah. Because that's where Dr. Bote landed after coming from exile and was a friend of Bushenyi. We have the people, and Bushenyi was prosperous actually in those days. Bushenyi is now on its knees. People are crying. We have the chairman here. We have the chairman of Mbarara here in Gulu. So the whole country is going through terrible pain. So what can we do? Manuel, you know, first of all, I told you that the reason all this is going on is not because people don't know. It's because they don't know yet how to overcome it. And some are beginning to give up, thinking it's not possible. Because I came here, the people of Gulu, of northern Uganda, even when they were in the camps, they embraced my candidature. They were voting for me 90%, 80%, thinking that maybe the vote can free them. They didn't know that the vote was being overthrown by the guns. Some voted for me knowing that without guns, Museveni won't go. So when they heard I am Kano, said, okay, now we have a chance. Let's run around the Kano. He looks for guns.
And he overturned.
he looks for guns and saves us, you know. So people are wondering, how can we overcome this captivity, this humiliation that the country has been subjected to by just one family? How do we overcome it? And this is critically important because unless people know how to defeat those who use guns to capture them, it will not stop. Even if some other gunmen, and even tonight, some gunmen can overthrow the government, and people may jump in the streets tomorrow and rejoice that at least this government is gone. But those who have overthrown it will soon become a problem, because you will still not be able to order them to do what you want. So we must painfully find a way of how to defeat those who use guns to control us. And that's really my most important mission at the moment. And, you know, so I have said, first of all, the election, nobody should look at the next election as a possible way of getting freedom. Because the election is conducted by all institutions that are captured. Whether it's the Electoral Commission, whether it's the police, whether it's the military, whether it's the media, whether it's, they are captured. So, it doesn't mean that if the election comes, we fold our hands. No, we shall not fold our hands when the election comes. But it will not announce that the control of our country has ended. The election will not announce that. So, we should not look up to it for freedom. We should organize our own agenda for freedom. The election is Museveni's agenda for remaining in office.
Right.
And our agenda for freedom is to resist what they are doing and to stop it by people who are not using guns. So, Museveni is the commander-in-chief of those who have guns. He has 4th Division here, 5th Division there, 2nd Division here, 1st Division. He has police command, he has prisons command. He is the commander-in-chief of those guns to keep him in power. We should form our own command structure of those who don't have guns and have communication amongst ourselves. And once our people, which we called Power 10, unfortunately there was very little time, and subsequently a lot of confusion came. It was not pursued. But that same idea of organizing small groups of 10, so the commander of the group becomes the 11th. If you are listening to me, even tomorrow, look for people who want to change their country and organize them into a group that you will stay with until we are free. That you check on each other every day. It is your team. And inform all others to form their teams, unarmed. We are going to build our own command structure of those who don't have guns. If we are able to achieve that, we can in no time disempower those who are commanding guns. Because those who are commanding guns cannot command them without our support and help. Has changed. They will know that they cannot survive without, because if we withhold our food, whom will they tear gas? Whom will they shoot so that they get food? So it's very easy for the population, if it is organized, if it is mobilized, to regain control over the country. And doing what I am saying is allowed by our constitution. It's not like those, like what Kony was doing here. Because Kony, if you take up guns to fight the government, you are violating the law. In fact, you are committing treason. But if we organize to withdraw our cooperation with the government, it is completely legal. And even the activities of doing it are completely constitutional and legal, provided by Article 3 of our Constitution. So, we are beginning a process of organizing the command of the unarmed in Uganda to regain control over their country. We shall be providing details through our networks, People will be, our leaders will also be exposed more on what they have to do through our networks. Because just like the army builds its force, trains its commanders and its fighters, we shall organize and train our leaders and have good communication. The army has army radios. We shall have our own radio system to communicate. Okay. And I can assure you, Emmanuel, and all our listeners, that, and it's already, I'm already encouraged where we started, in the area, in the regions where we started. We haven't yet rolled out to say the details of how they, but people are already very active, creating these teams, and they are putting pressure on how to make them most effective.
Okay.
So if we act with seriousness, and this is especially for young people, because it is young people that must save themselves and regain the country. For me, as Besigye, I am now 68 years. The Bible says our years are 70. And if we become strong, we become 80. So I'm not fighting for myself. I'm fighting so that the young people of this country can live better lives than we have lived. But they must fight for themselves. They must, all young people must be active. If we are to win this war that we are going to fight, we must overcome 4 things, and those are the things that I will end on this, and you can go to your. We must win 4 tools that are facing us. The first one is fear. Because those who control the country and control us by creating fear in our minds. That if you do this, they are going to kill you. They are going to imprison you. They are going to torture you. They are going to take away the little that you have. People are paralyzed by fear. We must overcome fear with faith. Faith defeats fear. That's why, and you know, here in Acholi, we have saints. People who have achieved sainthood here in Acholi. Yes, because of faith. Yes, because of faith. Now people come from all over the world to recognize their courage and faith. So we need faith in ourselves and in our country to say that, you know, we together can take back our country. And that those who are threatening us, if we resist, they will do nothing to us. And there is power in, this is why we need each other. If you are threatened, call on your colleagues, be together, the 10 of you. If you are alone, it's easy to threaten you. But let's know that we can overcome. There is no way they can imprison 1 million people if we are organized. There is no way they can. So they are just, intimidation is like the scarecrows you see in the gardens. If you are not firm, you meet a scarecrow, you think it is a big monster waiting to catch you, when it is just some grass that has been constructed. So we must overcome fear. Secondly, we must overcome the money they are using to bribe us, especially the leaders. Because when we start organizing, they look for leaders and say, you don't worry, don't continue with what you are doing. We are going to solve your own problems. They take you to solve your own problems, and you betray all the others. We must know that to reach the good land we want to be, we must pass through sacrifice. Even Mr. Museveni, who has now controlled our country for nearly 40 years, before that, he suffered, stayed years in the bush, without food, without clothes, without what? He had to pass through difficulties to get what he wanted. We as Ugandans must be prepared to pass through sacrifice in order to get what we want. And I was very, very happy with our leaders in Acholi because they came very early in the morning. We had a meeting. We had a public engagement later on in the evening during rain. They didn't have lunch. We didn't pay them to move. They didn't, you know, they are determined to sacrifice, to suffer for what they want to get. So that is the second thing. We must overcome money. Thirdly, we must overcome propaganda of the state. Because they have money, they use their money and their control of the media to spread propaganda, which we have very little capacity ourselves to respond to. I wanted to be on a number of radio stations in the region because every radio station has its audience. But I couldn't because on most radio stations, they charge exorbitantly. And we don't have that money. Yet those radios are either government, they are either controlled directly by the government or by people who are working with the government. So for them, they have easy and direct access to them, whereas we don't. And they use that to cause a lot of confusion with misinformation. Some time back, they started campaign that Besigye works with Museveni. they secretly work together. And they kept on repeating it until some people started believing it. You know, I asked, but if I did, supposing that it was right I am working with Museveni, have you thought about what it is that I have not done because of working with him, which I would have otherwise done? Or what I have done that I should not have done? Because that's what would tell you whether whatever I'm doing is genuine. If there are certain things I should do that I haven't done, which somebody else can do also. But propaganda, we must defeat it. Lastly, we must defeat the plan of those who captured our country to divide their captives and cause conflict amongst themselves. Divide and rule. Which is what we are dealing with in the parties. You'll find it in the churches. You'll find it in the business community. You'll find it wherever people gather. They try to divide them and cause conflict. We must overcome those four things. And if we do, we shall regain control over our country. I'm confident this is going to happen and will happen soon if all of us are serious and do what we need to do.
All right, thank you. As I'll get back to Andrew, those who are getting us live online, you can actually also get to us through 0777 414 665 or on WhatsApp 0200 957 858. After Andrew's translation in law. Is that a law when Paul? I don't know you own Chingo, but I'm ready to tell
Ikimguri papate mati katonga, iguri papate mati na jana ngombi, mene mati kitwaya kumpati. Ladir Kizza Besigye wajo kama lengo. begin matekatema FDC je political problem. Pian chiek papate pege waro. Chi gin ma ene tika wore ye bot Uganda ni owen. Ene mi mobilizing down. Ni kere bedi gitekatemo chopo pero me pate me. Pero mati FDC pate me. Pero chalo kaka. Wakala muu kadano. Kuchiek. Mano dano diyo kongini. Pero madit ene dong. Nyuere matekatemo pate. Wakala dano. Ukwantan ki kong pero bilogo. Si eno wacho wakama lengi. Pero matekatemo FDC pate. Si pero matiri. Am gibit yele menano ne. Pero e ono tum. Kakira nga gim kiti ako penyo dog down. Magim kiti ako wale yan. Dog ni ari o mo bino. Mala penyo abe na ni. Ngo madong miyere kitim. Ladit Kizza Besigye wacho wakama lengi. Achuli ma ene ngayon ubeda. Achuli ma no diyo kideo. Madira dida. Madano igi yom. Mano kutie. Andano yele dog dano tiyo matan. Ento kajiri la uo majo kateke kwena. Ni kumbiri na chuli ene chan diri eloyo nambario ke Uganda. Lugo ko kara moja. Eno mine watam ni achuli umiru choke neo. Labon ma eno miyo tini. Aswaran kumbiri ni wawel eka mimom. Ma chon chil mi aswaran tiye. Wawama chuli puwa neo. Ento kumbiri ni aswaran nongi mwego ye wawegi nebe. Peti dano mage age kan. Peki ta chon. Onoranji one konyo kan. Peki mati apa embo wari. Loka tiak suga wa embo wari. Uwaini wa loka ngom mati nuaya. Kumbiri dano na ero niyo. Ladit salim saleo. Tiki ngom madit. Ma ero niyo. Labon ni kuni dano waya ni salim saleo wila. Ento ero penye lakay ni. Salim saleo wilo ngom. Ero ni kichiyate bana. Piyan salim saleo. Ketika tiyo mo kan ma eno karo interview ne eno chero ti ti eno wa ni dano tiki ngeje kompe ke ni wen eto dano pege ngeyo kito mire giti I kompe o ene ti eno katene kombe ni dano miro me kit me lono dano magiti ke mudo eno wa ni ka kombe be jo ke no be wa ne ene te kano ko dano be mine gen kichwa kwa kara ma dano te kampi Dao bera mine kui. Joke no bole kui ni. Ene tie kanol. Tena ene romo nongo jo atiki mudogo. Wakara gili donge ba maji ko maji wakara la Uganda ke pero mati. Ento ene wa ni. Ka wegi mudogo manyen ko biyon ko chire mudogo na ako loyo ke. Che mudogo magengo loyo ki ke ne ene dogo dugo. Pero kita kumbere mudogo tiki pero. Chino puwa jogo pero. Chi ene wa ni kumbere ni uberu tipa wanwen me kwero da kwero loj ma tiki mudugo loj pa jo atiki mudugo chi ene wa ni la dib Museveni kumbere tiki mudugo tiki UPDF tiki police tiki prison now me odwor tie mudugo chi ene wa ni dano kumbere romo yuko command onyo barak pa dano mape ki mudugo wakara Barak padano mapeki mudu, unyo dul padano mapeki mudu, wekara gen gulo dul padano mapeki mudu. Eno wae mwakali bari okapara bichi. Dulu mone magilu one power tem. Dul padana pa, mada wigi ka umete kumdana pa, dugu dana para chie. Ene dul padano mapeki mudu, ete gitiki ni ye ni gen gitika wale jeme maraj. Wekara la obino. Madul padana pa ene kane gibera yopugio I village achela I parish achela I sub county achela I division achela I district achela I region achela che kadul padana pa ene kubera kupe kemge chi dul ene romo dugu network onyo kupe padul padana madia dida maramo kela la kilo Uganda donc eno wayni ka dana pa mageti village achela ka nemo mogo ni wang ki village achel ko amela bolni wang ka lolu wang ka riaga wang ki la ro che wang wa mogo ni tim wa pe ka chwalo dere ju ni gir ma wang wa pe ro ko na lot ne nergang ko bo ne nergang la bolni wang wa go ko gang wa cham ke gang petie chwalo jemi ju tem jo atiki muduru na ge wilu jemi ke ju ke no wang wa tuono ge da ko So ka wan watu jo atiki mudugo kede. Pero biyon katia gase dano ke gangi. Pero biyon kamako dano e buj ke gangi. Chitere ni jo atiki mudugo gui dugulo lega. Bot jo ape ke mudugo do biyan watu ono ke jena chele ke ma ene ni lo ne de. Chitere wa ene kumbele ni ende tie magapia la bichelu ya po. Jo kene kino kene ko no ke tiki tamni. Ene ti kalwen pi anyima mege. Ero wa ene wa Bible ke jo ene. Inu mire vet ke magapia la bero charo dala. Makalo magapia la bor ke la jo kene ko nyogeta kata biengo magapia. No don ke guma dida. Unyo kitero man no dida mo do. Chi ero wa ene bulu unyo youth, unyo young people bulu. Giti mater pian gudom ke mwara maduong mo mere biengo ko. Don we kara gutin tik one milaro ke tera chonya matika teme Uganda ko. Giti jema mwen me ate mama eno bi ko keloke mi achel bi kwan luoro ni gi nerio ka ini malo mi chumbi ke ne milana la bino luoro mi poison luoro mi prison ni gi mario eno gi kwan eno wene ka dano repe vile achel ni ka tin gi mago an amru to che dano mi achel ko me ka be mago amru to donc magwan mi achelo when gamente pe che chene ne peto dano mi achelo di achel i priso unyo dano mi achel dano milion achel dano li achel pe make ka gwa ko pe chi e one no wachao so eno wa ene di kwan luoro di le ko luoro kini ye dano me robet kini ye mi ario pe di ye ne dano ge wilgi dano mire bujale ni jemene ta kero wa yuero jale Michere lum, eri lum, jale pian pubero yore lum. Uweko kwanyo yuere bebe mero jale, dano mero jale, dano po mero ye, no mere di wildi. Mi adek loka propaganda, unyo lok rungula maworo. Kumberi ni propaganda, duong joka no bera meyo propaganda, chala bae kushaya. Kidu loka ngea papapa. Mukene nono, choj madit, kiene ya, ladit Kizza Besigye, nitika tiji yueri. Kono ladit, Johnny tiki plan no money. Si ano me yola penny. Ka dano wa ni ene ti yuki yuera da. Dano ko wa gingo ma peti mo. Ma dano ma wa ni ene ti yuki yuere. Romo katika ne kama lengi. Gino we la dit Besigye tika tiki la dit Museveni. Peti katemo gin mako mano man. Ma peti katemo ne Uganda. Manyuru ni ene tika winye tika mente pa yana ra. Mero la penny na eno me. So down me a twin bube flat down where lock me propaganda. Kidom me a giti, not a deep Kizza Besigye kateke. And locate divide and rule. Tell a money ma teach poco down. Come on, you can madame time go and down lock lever chill. Gamente we yell if attack the when we carry the killer poa. Omeula ball a poa doing parties. UPC a poa caro. FDC a poa caro. DP a poa caro. Wa MRM kumira poka dom dili ye matera wa ga ilega a poka no tele dir ana mi rube bisho kora na mi gewin ube tele duan dida wa group bole chup mateno tine kimka lok rungula no dit ti ero ni a poka no beru tam magamente tiu kichenda madira dida mekere ne wa kara dang pogo no kara dilok ilega che donc ero ni dul power ten tie dul mi network madit ma gi ene mage mbarara mage bushen mage chero wakabale mage beri jinja mage beri oema mage bine lera furgi mila mi katiki tamme ala mod I word gi mi ario ki word mi ade kita la dir you we ritualo monye Mogadishu training kita twalo mon mukene ka kwang ka monene en command pa do ape ki muduni Gen gidi yele kachere kudo wore wen we kara be gen go chere training go chere be le mapapa gunom fonye mapapa kira mon be gi fonye ni ero ene be beru fonye pa jo ape ki mudo ikip magi ramuti kachero ero wajo ni peo mere gi ko ni kui ni 2026 ena bukera la abibino ka down wen go lo le kachero Now we will look at the retired canal.
Avoid translation open mobile trial. I went to Chilbor of the land team. I don't think it will not a beer. angwen achiel angwen abichiel abich kidong not ariyo not abungwen abich abiero aboro abich aboro nama chimu digindi tulo man me etero mutiki matero WhatsApp achibere wono tanki botin yutiano matanki man machakla go chiman hello wafori ni mama nani kwani
Wazila.
Manga?
Simon.
Simon Kipel, yes, Simon.
Program ko Amira wadi lamma ya long dengan lamma kaji dapat kerja. Đúng là cái nhà cái công an cái nó đang nói là như còn đây là em đây là em là đủ cũng như là cái người ta mà lại nói về như cái này lo quỷ cái này nhiều quỷ nhiều họ chặt nếu như đó con nhà bồi thì ra nó có cách em ta cũng có được cái họ như thì nhiều trong các gì rồi thì viên nghiệp của tôi em nói một điều khi mà lên đi giải thích này trong tại mà nó lên chuyển qua nhiều anh cho vào đến nhiều nó cũng thường mua của về mình biết mọi khi gian đoàn là cái lót khi đau được đi đã bằng đôi khi nhiều khi đẹp chuyên pero mà nó không kia là riêu cũng mà cái em mà cũng vậy sao đấy cái vui nhiều chú lý cái lộc ngon để lại quăng đi cái gì tao mà nó cũng đi bắt mà đi can đúng là nó chẳng nó đó cái kia riêu vậy thì cũng mà cái kia đó đúng không được cái này cái team này bây giờ cái mọi camera cái qua gì nó phải là loại đồ như này em là khi lúc ấy này em đúng nhiều quy cho mà có về đồng cái team này có mình đồng như ta chỉ là những cái kêu lần này cái một team vui cái mình lấy có cái là biết gì cái dùng một cái mặt nó phản cái nhân thìขาดหัวอยู่มุกแกนจะรวยอยู่ตรงมุนนี่อยู่มุกแกนเนี่ยมาบุจะว่าคนน้องก็ได้ไม่รู้บาร์บอร์แกมันจะว่าชุดอยู่เลยผมเอาตายเลยคนเยี่ยมไปอะไรไป
Voor het wel. Samen kipede. De amigo bir pole tambene. Bij bir pole kamine. La pen pe bir dungo twalie. Hello, Speak FM.
Yes, Emma.
La voor het wel.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Man na ikune?
This is Lawrence. I am
within the city.
Yes.
Yes, Lawrence.
Thank you so much for bringing my music through. Hello?
Yes, we're getting you loud and clear, Lawrence.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing Dr. Desi today. You welcome to Gulu. Say here, say Desi.
Ni kurra.
Eva, I see what I'm going to say.
Je, no kora chiguru. Hey. Okay. But don't forget what I have said. Make your groups so that we get out of this situation.
That is also what I want to talk about.
Yes, Lawrence. Let's move straight to your point, Lawrence.
Yeah, Mr. Emma?
Yes.
Dr. Desi is talking of reforming the Gulu. For what? Because we have seen that elections will never change Uganda. Because like me, I voted for him twice, 2011 and 2016. But I'm seeing no results.
If pressure then Dr. Besigye has pressurized himself enough, he would have left the power, but he's not going anywhere.
Okay, I will explain.
Yeah, for me, what I think is, if we want change, I think our national army should help us through this money for me so that we can enjoy our Uganda. That is the solution. But the election is
Okay.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, for your concern. Wanuk chimo kene futi boti na radio, you tell Martin, not a bera, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to be Speak FM. Before you niba. Manga? Opia kukungiri moni ya moro. Okay. Okay.
And if we look at it in 2021, Mama Papa, you know, Salon was having a job, and pay down. You don't much other one for my years now, but you know, King John, I was to talk to that people. Makera one to my new kind of family were earning not form down to the down for I don't even down something family making down my young kind of never know and so anyway one to my young kind of not what in and on education. I'm going to pay long for
Voya, your absence in the ballot for the last two elections has not been.
It was only one election.
One election. Somebody has said on WhatsApp, thanks for your program. What Dr. Besigye is saying is factual and truthful. Dr. Besigye and the group should embrace reconciliation with the National Nkumbi faction. Then they should have a comprehensive unity with all other opposition parties, but not to fight for who should be the leader of opposition with the satisfaction, greed for power to lead from within the prison must stop. Thanks, Onono Bilamoy, DP member. This is one of the senior citizens as well. Onono Bilamoy is Bilamoy, a DP member. Why don't you move for reporting? Lieutenant Martin, hello, Speak FM. Before you before it fall. The manga? Yes, coffee, go to the Yes, Kirombe. All right. All right, so far. For it, while we're doing a check, just few seconds, or no chimo can if reporting.
The Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, maybe digital channel, no MTN, MTN, Uganda Communications Commission.
All right, before we try to we're holding to get a free bottle, not a beer, I'm going to tell them when to pitch. Speak FM, hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Greetings to Colonel Besigye and the team inside there.
Who am I talking to?
I'm coming to that, my brother.
Yes.
My name is Kenneth.
Kara Kenneth.
Yes.
Yes, Ken.
Colonel Besigye, I think, first of all, I would like to tender my heartfelt disappointment in you as a youth in northern Uganda and as a person who started working for you right away in 2001 until the time you skipped the ballot. A lot of things has been happening in northern Uganda, and I expected you at your level, because now you are an international figure, to have come out and denounce some of these things. Right away from the issues of Afar, the issues of Atwarans, the issues which are happening, the generals buying large chunk of land. You have a platform. You can invite CNN, you can invite BBC, you can invite all sort of media right in your compound and talk about these things. But I've never heard you do that. That is my disappointment, and I share it with many other people, even the people who are with you there, like my brother Kwete there. I think also in your private talk will tell you. We have already given you a mandate in Uganda here to have a say of certain things, with or without the approval of the state. Because when you talk, people will understand that this is not just an ordinary person in Uganda speaking on an issue. That is one. Two, to me, I still believe that FPC can still do something better in liberating Uganda. But this faction of Nazanang Kumbi and then the Katanga, it is something which to me, I believe, if you could have even a solution, you should start the reconciliation talk tonight. You will not bring FDC to its former shadow with these two factions operating differently. Remember very well, in Uganda, FDC, right from the time of reform agenda, gained a very significant support from Eastern Uganda and Northern Uganda. And our sons and daughters paid a huge price for supporting this party. And I don't think any FDC rebranded in whatsoever name, without the support from Eastern, Northern, will go back to the former shadow of FDC. Masses, we may be few in population, and we are given in our sons and daughters who are very aggressive in first of all confronting the junta government as we described. So, reconciliation is what I still preach, because you will lose a large chunk of what right from Eastern Uganda, Greater Northern Uganda, West Nile. I have been in West and I've worked in West for the last 10 years. I know the political map of LDC in Western Uganda for Muslim as a passion. Sometimes you see people keep on reading. Several times I am interested in listening to the speeches of you, the speeches of Museveni, General Salim, wherever you organize something. You talk exactly the opposite of what General Saleh would talk. If General Saleh was to be invited in the station right now, he would very carefully talk exactly observe the opposite of what you have talked now, as if you are reading from the same script. So, some of us are becoming so skeptical about you people who are in the bush. There is a way you promote your agenda in a way that if somebody doesn't analyze you carefully, at the end of it all, you just get confused. Maybe to be straight to the point, you are saying now, we cannot hostage this government out by use of gun, because still, if we host this government out using gun, in the same way the people who will come to power through gun will do the same mistake that this current government is doing. At the same time, you are saying ballot paper
will also not force this government out. And then at the same time, you are saying, let's organize ourselves in group of our 10 with our commander making it the 11th. And then maybe what we are silent about is to do what? To do a civil disobedience, to do a civil strike. In the same way, that is where people sometimes read that if Adam Bese is saying now, let's not all gun and fight. And he knows that this is a very entrenched rebels who have captured power and they still have that rebel mentality. How will you remove them using the civil unrest? In a situation where now they have increased 360 RCCs, deputy RCCs, rather deputies, yes, RCCs and the RDCs. They have increased the systems or military intelligence. They have expanded on all these security organs. Before even the 10 people organized themselves in the night, the so-called drone will come for you. So, as someone who grew up in war in northern Uganda, and I have seen all this, for me, I will still say, if you are saying, tomorrow let's get gun and fight, I would even accept that, because maybe with gun you can die 1, 2, 3 months, and then after either you're defeated or you defeat somebody. But if you're still saying, let's form 10 people and they deny taking goods to the market, it is our own children who will suffer. They will not go to school, because these are government where the operators, their children first of all don't study in Uganda. So if we shall be suffocating our own self, you should.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kennedy, for your submission. We're going to chimbol no Kennedy. We can pick 2 or 3 more calls. Then I'll get back to some of the concern raised by callers. Hello? Yes, Francis. The dog girl you came back?
And we are composition when on Maturi man you don't know Mario. We are good lady. Each of the Macaron memorandum of understanding to reach your away and an balance of power. Overwhelmingly sharing balance or sharing of national cash. Overwhelmingly animals can put people who live like a guinea. Here is a child where I was at Uganda to kill a lava. Don't allow that woman. Then of people again, Overwhelmingly were ending and take a my winner did not want to humble and fiercely. Give me the 10 give money, give money, but I have only for your advice. Yeah, I'm kind of you position Wiggy, Mala Chile, phone or then war opposition, look situation, particular. Mero le peke chu between the team could not be kept to that and coping that Uganda kai Yaro was taking UK or taking US to take your home from the copper in the office for your right. UN when no we never for Uganda make a national unity or not here. National unity should be prioritized.
For Francis Kilacho, there is somebody also who sent a message here, and it's called William Oluma from Langol. Langol is in our district. He said that I want to thank Dr. Besigye for appearing on radio today. And my question is, what do you, as Dr. Besigye, think can change this regime if we don't go for an election, as well as embracing the use of guns? Thanks. This is William Oluma from Langol in Waya district. Maybe I'll pick the last caller for now. Hello? Yes.
Yes, it's a lot of Kumakich.
Yes, Kumakiti
I'm a member of the
kibera for tama yo bioke tama be. And again getting that into Uganda. And so my our confrontation northern Uganda, you know, not yet. You know, one of very great Canada. Or now kill a conflict break. So again, the conflict person from Haiti. Can you get out to Uganda? Can you go repair? Can you get that or you take the order? How that? You know, you will solve it. Can you get them to the official? Now, one of the one go to the very so one of the president of Uganda, and you come to the so give me the thing about my game, one bird of million church around give me the to an hour alone.
Kevin from Pade saying that it's okay for you. Kevin from Pade is saying that what percent can we trust you in counting of the votes this time? And what will we use to stop the gun that always disorganize our votes for you? Thank you very much for coming to Gulu. My president, one people, one Uganda. Of course, Kevin, we're going to get time P19. We have 26 minutes to go. Maybe you'll get back to some of these comments and concerns in like 10 minutes. Then I actually give some 2 minutes to other people in here. Then we conclude for today.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Simon from Peche basically wanted to find out how we can overcome fear. Says it is fear which is the biggest challenge to change. People are now giving up. Elections are meaningless. And, you know, I had already responded to this. I can only emphasize that fear is dispelled, is overcome by 2 things. One is information. Information that what you fear is not that powerful. It has been overcome elsewhere. Knowing how similar situations have been overcome by other people. When we defeat Museveni in the way I have been trying to explain, we will not be the first to defeat those who are armed without using arms.
All right.
And by populations that were being intimidated and made to fear, like ours is being intimidated and made to fear. By the way, the British had guns. In fact, the British made the guns. Museveni uses second-hand guns made by other people. Some he buys from South Africans. The ones the white South Africans were using to terrorize blacks, like the Mambas. That's where he buys the guns. These Mambas were the ones terrorizing the blacks by the Boers. So Museveni doesn't make any guns. The British made guns. The British controlled nearly the world. It was an empire. Britain controlled America. Britain controlled India. So Britain was in charge of Uganda. How did we force them to leave? They didn't leave because they felt they had had enough. They were busy. They wanted to continue taking our wealth. They had already built a railway line to Kasese to take the copper. They had already built a railway line to Gulu to take cotton, to take the other wealth that was coming from northern Uganda. They were happy. But the people of Uganda resisted them until they realized that they could no longer hold. So unless you don't think that we achieved our independence through struggle, that's when you can say it's not possible to win against those who are armed when you are not. Because we have already done so in this country. And by people who are not educated, as the ones who are there now, by people who did not have communication. There were no phones during the struggle for independence. Now you can send one message across the whole country in 1 second and everybody will know what to do. So it is much, much easier to do what our ancestors did. And therefore, fear is first and foremost overcome by knowledge. Secondly, by faith, believing in yourself and believing in your rights and being determined to achieve what is yours. Lawrence, who I think comes from Western Uganda, he says he's digging. He must be in the farms here in Acholi. I don't know what he said he's digging. He was saying that the UPDF should overthrow Museveni. That's the only way we shall survive. You see, actually that is possible. You know, the UPDF can tomorrow overthrow the government. But the question is, what control will you have over the UPDF that has overthrown Museveni? Will you have control over them? If we take up guns like, I think it was Kara Kenneth. Kara Kenneth was saying that the reason he thinks I may be working with Museveni is because I don't want to take up guns. So Kenneth, two things. If I took up guns and overthrew Museveni, how will you control me?
Overthrow you.
Because I will have the guns you want. How will you force me to do what you want to be done? You will not have power over me. I will still be the ones who can either do good if I want. If I don't want to do good, you have nothing to do against me. That's what we want to end. Where people who have guns do what they want and not what the people want. So yes, secondly, if you feel that what I am offering as a solution is not good enough, I have no problem with you, Kenneth, taking up the guns. The guns are not a monopoly of anybody. Museveni has never been a soldier, actually. He was just an annoyed civilian. Up to now, he has never been to a military training school, Mr. Museveni. He's a civilian for all intents and purposes. But he took up guns and fought. Nothing is stopping you, Kenneth, from taking up guns and instead complaining on telephone. If you think guns are the solution, pick them up. It's not difficult to get guns. There are many sleeping watchmen around. You can start. But and yes, guns can overthrow the government because once you have popular support, once people support you, even if you have few guns, you can defeat those who have many guns. That's what we did in the bush. If you know what to do, you can defeat the government. But having defeated them, how will the ordinary people have power over you? And after all, during the war, the ordinary people are further weakened, like you saw in northern Uganda here. There was a war for 20 years. People lived in the camps. Their homes were destroyed. The culture, the strong culture of the Acholi people was destroyed in the camps, you know. The schools and schooling system was destroyed and so on. So by the end of the war, the ordinary people were much weaker than they were at the beginning of the war. So even when you win the war, ask the people of Ruwero. The people of Ruwero where we fought, they have never recovered. So war destroys ordinary people and gives power to those with guns. And those who have been weakened cannot control those who have won the war with guns. So it's up to you. Because, you know, I tell people, those who say, maybe Besigye, you are working with Museveni. If you think so, you move him. You must organize. You must take action. And that's what I would invite you to do. So that was Lawrence who wanted the army to overthrow. The army will overthrow and cause more problems. There was the Amuru man who joined NRM because I didn't contest in 2021.
That's okay.
Was he Opio? Yes, he said I caused confusion by not appearing in 2021. But you see, I told you I defeated Museveni 4 times. In 2016, I still have the results of the election of 2016. But I was not announced. I knew I would not be announced. I announced myself as the winner. It was the first time that there was self-declaration. I declared my winning. I was arrested and taken to Karamoja, where I was imprisoned in Moroto. From there, they took me to Ruzira until I appeared in court on charges of treason. I told the court in open, broad day that it is true. I announced myself. The government should not waste Uganda's time that it is investigating. It was true. I declared in court. So, start the hearing and I bring my evidence that it is me who won. So that you understand that I was right to declare myself. The case was never heard for 5 years. After I had accepted, it was never heard. After the next election, we read in the papers that they have quietly withdrawn the case. So, if I came in 2021, I come to ask you, Opio, for your vote again, you would ask me what happened to the one of 2016. What did you do with it? So yes, we can use the election if we are better organized, like I am talking about. If we have all these power tens all over the place, we can go into the election prepared with all the plans, plan A, plan B, plan C. We come with them all prepared. It is possible. But in 2021, there was no such preparation. There was COVID. There were all other problems. I told you that even our own party was already in problems. These problems we are dealing with had already cropped up in the party. So that was what happened in 2021.
All right.
But it should not stop us from pursuing what we need to pursue. As I have said, elections can be used in the struggle, but we should not rely on them as the means that will give us the change.
Right.
Oh, no.
I think Nono's question
Was simply saying we should unite all parties. And I think that too was raised by Francis, who wanted us to have an MOU of all parties. It is easier said to unite all parties, because as I have said, even those who are talking about reconciliation, how do you reconcile a party or an element of the party that is controlled by Museveni? How do you reconcile it with those who want to remove Museveni? How do you do it? You advise me, because we are united. You are asking us to unite these parties to remove Museveni. But some of the parties we call opposition are working with Museveni openly. Not in hiding, they are working openly in broad daylight with Museveni. So how do we reconcile them with the purpose of removing Museveni? So you must understand that what we can unite, and we must do every effort to unite all Ugandans. We will only unite all Ugandans who are determined to fight the cause of our pain, which is the Museveni family, not even NRM, the Museveni family. And yes, we shall not spare any effort to unite. That's why you've seen me at the same press conference with Bobby Wine, with Geno Muntu, with Jema people. We are not seated. We are doing everything to unite those who are focused on removing what is causing pain to the country. But we cannot at the same time work with those who are working with the problem. Scovia, I think, was just saying I should get back to the ballot. I have already responded to that. Then there was this Kara man, Kenneth. He was also saying he's disappointed because I don't talk about the problems that have happened here in Acholi. I have not talked about APA, I have not talked about Aswa, I have not. I don't know where Kenneth has been because I have been loudly doing so. Not in Kampala only, I have come to APA physically. We have delivered a lorry of supplies to the people of APA who were displaced to relieve their suffering. We mobilized ourselves and mobilized resources which we took to APA. We have addressed the issues of APA from Acholi, not from Kampala. You must remember that we had a campaign which lasted years, My Land, My Life, fighting over land grabbing. It was a national campaign. So I don't know really where Kenneth was, but if you want, you can even Google what I have told you. You'll find it in the newspapers that we have been using whatever platform we can to shine a torch on this, on the suffering of the people.
Right.
And I think Komakech was again talking about reconcile. Kevin was asking, so what shall we do if we don't? I think Kevin and a number of other people were saying, if elections won't cause change, if we don't want to hoard guns,
what next?
What then can we do? And you know, first of all, those who want what is happening to remain, they have succeeded in you see, even if you wanted to fight, I can tell you I'm not a small tactician. You don't attack your enemy where the enemy is strongest. You attack them at their weakest point. And that's why your hill here is called the Achilles heel. Because it was considered a weak point. So if we want to defeat Museveni, Museveni has, in his entire life since he was a boy, he has been focused on using violence. That's what he entirely depends on. That's what he has tried to understand, how to use violence to control power. Museveni doesn't know how to fight with non-violence. And you saw how we tested it. You saw how we tested it with the walk to work. Those of you who were around, just asking people to wake up and walk to work. No guns, nothing. Museveni nearly collapsed. Just walking to work. You remember? Kayihura and everybody, you know, they brought all kinds of forces just to walk to work. No, we were not in the bush, we are not anything, just walk to work. So, don't underestimate the power. I told you the British were defeated by resistance, non-violent resistance, boycotts. People boycotted buying their things, boycotted this, and we are organizing and organizing until the British realized they didn't want to wait for the final defeat. They wanted to withdraw tactically so that they can maintain a relationship and a hold on Uganda. So it's very easy, and many other countries have been defeated by non-violence. But the government will start a campaign to discourage people. Even when we were in the bush, by the way, the government of UPC had a big campaign to say, have you ever seen anybody guerrilla take over government? You can't, they will die in the bush. They will never succeed. It's the tactic of everybody who holds power to discourage people from using a potent means to take them out.
All right.
So, but I don't discourage those who want to use the guns. You hold them and go. I have not stopped. I have not discouraged anybody. Take them and don't say Besigye discouraged us. No, you go if you want. Those who want to do what I am suggesting, organize and we also go.
All right.
Let us see those who will succeed. So I think that
those were the questions.
touches on most of the questions.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe you'll allow me to say bye-bye when at the end.
Yeah, actually we have only 5 minutes to go.
Well, I thought he was going to translate what I have said, the answers. Because they were those
maybe
who...
in 2 minutes, and we are
There were those who asked in the...
La diro poi la pen pa unwen eno we mapera ta dano mero bed ki information dano mero yen loga da kamati luoro o mere gile ki beru gini ye kini ario jo atamo ni ka UPDF edom gutiaro gujemo me la kola dira la dit Museveni chi ni no magengo la ana nge mago vero ka control UPDF o mio dano eno mero bed gure ni allora eno wajo ni pejo atamu ni gendi winye gini Museveni am gino we wayan pechere ye i 2016 ene e chiaro wa kamalengi di dano chi e tiero qui che carene ene lo che mare di dove con ne ene toro chi ma yero logo ma che lo di treason ma e doni kodbe koru penye ne timo balle ene ye ne timo balle mika kami ne pod kije mukane onyo mi ye ne mi kelo chaden gamento kwero ine mwaka big gamento bayo loko chi eno uwajo bedok ni jo atamu ne ene tie katich ki gamento mati kom magete ka gene ke mako mudugo en pe kwero ngaro ma ka no mak mudugo te kamale ero pe jo atiki ni ye ni jo magete ke mudugo jo ape ke mudugo rom bedo ke lodge ikom jo atiki mudugo gubin ite guri papati chigi nen mo mere gitim ikidni ikidni kwanyo twero ni dugi chindwa dong emo giwo ni kumere ni gamendo pa eno ti magora dida ento kai tika lwen kila mono ni monge kan chiet iyela mono ni igoro ne pe ta ne la dit Museveni tak mada ilokiti kita kum kitiki mudugo ke violent ento gina chele kan magen ke temu tika bero onyola dit Museveni igoro ne gin kita mu walk to walk ke kan minyoro ne bero la bom mudugo ramo dugo ke chi okelo kaba madia dida okelo weta madia dida unoa mamba ke maoke uchungu widao na ulo boy wala dir kale wa chano hai dano be kigan ankachelo dano romu beru kika
Dear listener, before we can conclude this evening, we have only 3 minutes to conclude the program for today.
Yes, thank you very much. Coming back to Acholi, I am very sad as well. You're psychologically still in the camps. And my reading as a social scientist is that the war is not over yet. The war of northern Uganda is not over yet. It has only changed tactics. It has now taken the side of grabbing your wealth. You are talking about land. It's not the only thing they will grab, because they want the things under the land. And they have the mineral map. when I was chairman of Kamuli, I visited Noya, and they already have blueprints about the future of Noya, and it doesn't include you. But your leaders of local governments are not paying full attention to the threat you're facing as a population. When you are invited for seminars, they are inviting you to validate, to stamp, to approve what they have already decided on computers outside Acholi. So the true threat to Acholi, you have not yet even discussed. It is not about the land, it's about the oil and the minerals under the land. So please, pay attention to detail and discuss. You're blaming, you're saying that others haven't talked about your problems, but even your leaders have stopped others from talking about your problem. They want to own the problem and deal with it alone. They do not want the rest of Uganda to discuss it because they've personalized it. And yet, when you do the network, when you do the thread, what is affecting Acholi is affecting the rest of the country. Land grabbing is countrywide. Mineral resources are countrywide. What doctor didn't tell you is that even the commodity prices are being downgraded the same way. The sugarcane in Busoga costs 166 shillings per kilo. The tea from Western Uganda costs 200 shillings per kilo of tea leaves. Do you know how many tea leaves you need to make a kilo? So each of us is not being allowed to discuss Uganda. They want you to discuss Acholi. As there's only one person who sees the whole of Uganda and has the map for it. Please don't be tempted to think life starts in Acholi and ends in Acholi. That's why we keep telling you we are one Uganda and one people.
Right.
Please, let's talk about our country. Even if we have gone through a rough patch, it is up to us to pick ourselves up.
Right.
And so when I come next, I want to discuss the serious issues about the future of you. Because me, I'm in my future. I'm on my way out. But what are we living with you? The generation that is restless, that is not even paying attention to your history, to your wealth, and to what your fathers have fought so hard to keep for you. You're giving away. Atiak. What are you doing about Atiak? Somebody gets on a plane, takes your land, brings in Vasoka to grow sugarcane for you,
Picks money from
from your budget and takes it, is given equipment of local governments to do the clearing, makes your children laborers without any transfer of technology. And you are fine with it because you are building hotels. Is that what your heritage is about?
Thank you.
Listen, I saw a man whose capital is a tray of eggs. And I said to myself, look at this. This one is not even annoyed. Will a tray of eggs allow you to have a wife?
You get a profit of 2,000.
I mean, a tray of eggs for how long? What is the future of a tray of eggs? So please help the people of Acholi to understand the threat they face. Is that how the young people of the rest of the world live?
All right, thank you. Time is up, Honorable Salamu Musumba. Maybe maybe the host, idakera chien kiken. Chicha wadoto.
Afoye tutwa dile enene wa watenene welewa magubino gu mi lockdown. Si foj madit bot doctor katiel ki honorable salam ki jo mukana weng maguloko kakain. Foj madit bot won speak FM. Ki foj madit bot jo magu mi la pen ki gu mi tam ki weng. Pian ka wan wa lo tam mo weng o weng kama leng kit enene. Konyo wa meneno kit mamir wa wot kera nyim. Lok matie tin kanye kadi bet peko madit tie bene I ot pa FDC ento pe tie ni lok pa FDC keken tie ni lok pa Uganda in mono kono initi pate mane kono initi ka kwene kai cheri ot yat ino yare ke jeliti ni kwan mabe ke je mono in itie makom betini chamo kene ki wachi ni keru melim maichi tie mabe mero en di magitika neno ne pedung pati tu kekem so wachung kachel ka wachung kachel twere dok belu dugu kekena yeko utafire uberka wacho ne kare moni ni kar magen gitil ka lwenyi lum no wan wati kwene no wan wati itemecha gen giber ka lweny so ngare mo pe miro upeny pingo gen gitimo jemi magitimo from luak me Uganda so wan po wamir gin eno ni wamir ni twero beri ching dano ka wamir ni twero beri ching dano miro kin magi kwanyo kergamente miro ben mano luak giromo beru ki twero control over afoy matek afoy dano weng urubut mabe Doc bene or Lord Jimmy, my doctor,
we are into another hour by 4 minutes. Maybe your last word in 2 minutes.
Well, I can always use it to first of all thank you, Emmanuel and Speak FM for hosting us.
You're most
this
welcome.
Very first time, and it's a wonderful program. Keep it up. Thanks for serving our people. And lastly, to thank the people of Gulu who received us so well. And, you know, there were people talking about fear. Just in one day, the people were able to overcome fear and push against the police and bypass them, not once, not twice. Just in one day, people had already gained confidence. So it is a question of leadership. Our people are the ones, our leaders are the ones who really undermine the effort of our people by showing them things are not possible. I think our people are courageous, and our people can move mountains.
All right.
Be strong. Change is coming. May the God bless you.
Bless you too. And of course, on behalf of Speak FM and the management, we also wish to thank you for coming and welcome you again to Speak FM next time. Of course,